Yo, what's going on, guys? So I'm going to do a quick video covering how to level up quickly in Black Ops 4. I'm at 3rd Prestige. I just hit 3rd Prestige, level 26 last night before I got off, and I feel like I've been leveling up fairly quickly. I've really been like running through the ranks, and my score is really high. I'm at 1.2 million score and 644 score per minute, which is almost double what my score was for Black Ops 2. So I want to cover a couple different things and a couple different like tricks and stuff that I've picked up since I started playing the game to maximize your score per minute and score per match and get you more XP. So I'm just going to cover that really quickly and basically go into detail on like a couple different things that I think are really helpful for leveling up. With the release of Black Ops 4, I started the yearly grind for Prestige like I do with pretty much every Call of Duty, and this year has been my fastest year of leveling up so far out of all the years that I played. So I want to share a couple of tips and talk about some things that I learned to consistently earn a large amount of XP per match. I know not everybody plays at the same skill level, and there's going to be some newer players who might be looking for a way to level up quickly, so I'm going to cover some mechanics in-game that can net you a good amount of XP, and I'm not just going to say things like getting 50 kills a match will earn you a lot of XP. So I'll go into detail on class setups for leveling, what the best game mode to play is for high XP or score, and things that you can do to improve your XP per match. So this video is not like a guaranteed amount of XP per game. This video is more just covering some basic tips that will net you more XP and could improve your score per minute when used effectively. Playing a different game mode or varying your specialist choice, and especially having an inconsistent or low score per minute, is going to give out different results. So I just want to cover that in case anyone thinks that I'm bullshitting or over-exaggerating how well this actually works for leveling up. So getting into the actual tips, for the first one, in my opinion the biggest one, is playing support for your team, especially as a solo player. If you watched my previous video on the KN57, you would know that I've been using the launcher since I first unlocked my creator class, and I run it on pretty much every class that I use, and I can't play the game without using the Hellion as my secondary, especially when I'm playing solo. During this time of the game's life cycle, everyone is pretty much running UAV, counter UAVs, and like care packages and stuff, so you're constantly seeing streaks in the skies, and the streaks in this game are actually really devastating, and so allowing the enemy team to hold that airspace superiority on your team is extremely detrimental for any game mode. So if you're playing solo but playing with cold-blooded, you're obviously going to be fine, but your team is still going to be constantly dying to the streaks, and it's only going to end up punishing yourself if you allow the streaks to stay in the sky. And on top of saving your teammates and their possibility of winning the match, you can actually rack up a lot of XP and score by shooting streaks out of the sky. And in pretty much every game, the enemy team at some point will have some sort of streak in the air, whether it's a UAV or an attack chopper. Pretty much every match is going to have something that will be detrimental to your team, so being able to quickly get whatever the enemy has out of the area is going to be extremely beneficial, as it's one less factor that you have to worry about dying to. And if you're playing any mode, no matter what it is, this is something that's not going to change. Streaks are actually devastating this game for the first time in a while, and allowing an enemy to keep their streaks up for the entire duration will hurt you and your team. When using the Hellion, make sure you're running Engineer. You'll be able to quickly spot streaks as they're called in, and you don't have to spend much time looking for them in the sky. Engineer also helps with specialist abilities, being able to see barbed wire and the radiation barrier, ammo packs, respawn beacons, enemy care packages clearly is extremely crucial in keeping yourself alive as a support. Ensuring that you're not going to be dying to anything extremely unnecessary is key when your team is relying on you, and you also get more XP and score for destroying specialist abilities as well, so that only adds on to that score and XP that you'll be earning from the streaks. Another part of playing support is choosing your specialist correctly. I feel like the best specialist to pick for usefulness as well as high amount of XP is Crash. Crash has the ability to drop ammo packs for his team that do extra damage, as well as give a bonus XP multiplier when killing enemies. And with the switch in Black Ops 4 to the EKIA system, the bonus points actually rack up pretty fast, even if you're not the person who delivers the final blow to an enemy. On top of that, Crash's super ability is an overheal to the team that puts everyone at 200 health, which is incredibly useful, especially when you're pushing for objectives like Hardpoint that the enemy has locked down. For each teammate that you heal, you can receive up to 25 XP, and for healing your whole team, you get 100 XP every time that you use the super. Both of Crash's abilities also recharge incredibly fast, and the overheal can be rotated through 3 to 5 times a game easily, and the ammo packs can be thrown sometimes 5 to 10 times a game depending on how often people are picking up the packs and how much score you can rack up. A quick tip for Crash is throwing the packs near objectives instead of in spawn. You do risk the bag getting destroyed, but early on when I used Crash, I noticed my teammates would never pick up the ammo if I dropped it in the spawn, but they would pick it up 3 out of 5 times when it's thrown near an objective. On top of that, when the bullets are paired with the overheal, your team has much more survivability and does more damage, which is a pretty lethal combination that all comes back to you as your team slays the enemy with your extra damage bullets. Try to time your super and ammo ability together for maximum effectiveness. Another thing to be aware of with your super is that you obviously can't heal your teammates if they're sitting on the respawn screen. So what I try to be aware of is my teammate's location relative to me. If I see 2 people just died in the kill feed, I know not to use my super right there. Instead, you can wait for them to respawn and use it, or wait till you get closer to an objective point. Or if you're in a sticky situation, the overheal completely changes the way some team fights can go down, and can be completely pivotal in taking the lead for your team. Just make sure you're not spamming your super as soon as you get it. You want to use it with some sort of thought in mind, if you're using it as an offensive super or defensive, and as you play with him, you'll pick up on when is a good time to use his abilities. Now, going into score streaks that allow you to still fulfill the role of support, I run UAV, Care Package, and Hellstorm. The UAV is something that I like to run even if it does get shot down, because being able to see where enemies are, even for a short period of time, is extremely helpful, and you can get the UAV extremely quickly as well. The Care Package is something I also covered in my last video, and in my opinion, it's one of the best streaks in the game, and it only takes 600 score to get. And when paired with Engineer, which allows you to re-roll your Care Packages and gamble at getting a better item, it's insane that it's only 600 score. There's been times where I've gotten extremely lucky from Care Packages, and I've gotten a gunship or a Thresher or a Sniper's Nest, and it allows me to run around and rack up Care Packages again, and continue getting lucky and getting extremely powerful streaks that the enemy team couldn't do anything about because they never shoot my streaks down. Care Package is a streak that you need to try with Engineer. The potential is insane when running in parties with this especially. Someone is bound to get a good streak when multiple people have 2 tries at their Care Package. And the Hellstorm is something that I picked because of how powerful it is, especially in objective game modes like Hardpoint, and I can assume that it would be just as good in Domination. The Hellstorm in this game has some insane range and does a lot of damage and allows you to clear points effectively. The spread on the Hellstorm allows it to get to people who are trying to escape once they hear the announcer call it out, and it allows your team to push on the point if the hard point is outside of a building. Since the game released, I've only played Hardpoint and I haven't played any other game mode besides that, and because of that, I can't really give good tips for modes like S&D or Dom, but I do feel like I have a pretty good grasp on the best way to play Hardpoint to maximize XP. If you guys haven't played Hardpoint before, it's basically King of the Hill, but with an objective that moves in a set pattern around the map every 60 seconds. It's been my favorite game mode since it's been introduced because of the high scoring potential that it provides. If you haven't tried it yet, I do suggest trying out a few games because it is really fun and can be intense at times when games start to get down to that last point and you rely on clutch moments to take the win. Hardpoint is a great game for high scores because of the amount of points that you get for capturing the objective. Unlike Domination, capturing a hard point is instant, and it's capped the second you touch the point. You also gain 15 score every few seconds while you're holding down the hard point. And this is more of a tip for players who are confident in their gun skill and their ability to control the map. But I want to get it out there because it's one of the main reasons why I've been able to level up really quickly. It's called Juggling a hard point, and it's where you take a hard point from an enemy or off a rotation, and then get out when you see enemies are pushing towards you, and you allow them to take the hard point from you, and then you go back into the hard point and kill them off the point, and then take it back and get the points for the kills, as well as securing the hard point. This isn't something that I recommend doing every time you're on the hard point, or even every match. If you don't get the kill on the people who are on point, then you just gave up the objective for free and died because of it, and that's why I wouldn't suggest doing this unless you can confidently wipe whoever's on the point, and that it isn't exactly a new player friendly tip. But doing this effectively can net you easily 900 score per minute when done correctly, and it'll throw your overall score through the roof. Like I said though, it's definitely not something you can go in to hardpoint and do in your first match. It takes a while to be able to learn when you can do it and get away with it, as well as you need to be aware of where the enemy is spawning and where your teammates are when doing this. This only works when the enemy captures the point, so contesting a point won't do anything for you, which is another reason why it takes time to learn how to do it correctly without costing your team the hard point. Maps that I know that this works well on is Summit, Firing Range, Slums, Hacienda, Icebreaker, and Seaside. The last tip that I have for leveling up quickly if you are a new player to the series is finding a gun that works well with your playstyle and playing to the strengths of that gun. Obviously, you're going to earn more XP the better you do, but to do better, you have to have a setup that is comfortable for you, that allows you to play in a way that highlights your strengths and playstyle. Like I said earlier, I have a class setup video that, in my opinion, is extremely strong, and everything on that class is unlocked fairly early. I think the KN57 is the last thing to be unlocked at level 25 or so. If you aren't sure about a setup or you want to try something out, check that video out and it might help you if you're unsure on how to build a class. So that's some basic tips to level up quickly in Black Ops 4. There are some really simple tips in my opinion, but they aren't exactly obvious to people who might be coming over from different games, so I want to cover it for those people. Let me know what you guys think if you do end up trying any of these things out and if it worked for you. I hope this helps you guys out. I think for the next video I'm going to try to cover some very basic new player tips for overall gameplay of Black Ops 4 and cover some things that I picked up over the years of playing. But besides that, thanks for watching guys. Peace out.